Started, talk about, this project. It obviously attracted a lot of very talented people, but it's not a huge film. It's very kind of intimate. What about it sort of connected with you, and what made you want to play this role?
Well, I met Shane Taylor, who's the director, and he was just so passionate about the project, and I really liked him, and we hit it off, and I read the script, and it's a dark script, it's kind of disturbing, and I was into it, I think it's always just your first reaction of, how would I be as this part, and how, could I tackle this, and who else is working on it, and there was quite a colorful cast, so I was interested in that, and it all came together, with my schedule and shooting time, and I really wanted to work with Reese, and it was fun. I mean, I got to play some like, kind of hillbilly, like white trash girl living in a brothel with her mom who gets like pregnant by her boyfriend's uncle. That was pretty interesting,
Yeah. Well, you sort of share, you obviously share a history with the Val Kilmer character, which is not like fully explored in the movie, but but I'm wondering, when you have a scene where that information kind of doesn't come out until later on, do you do anything like in terms of either talking to Val or to Reese or to the other actors to sort of, establish that as a foundation, or do you just have to play each scene sort of like not acknowledging sort of the undercurrent or the sort of other things that are going on?
Yeah. I didn't have I didn't go too deep into the background of the unknown, I guess, like the hidden dialogue or what's gone on secretly that the viewer doesn't get to see, because I really only had one scene with Val, so and it's right at the time where I've just met this guy who I feel like is my ticket out of this town, and they walk into the house, and he's passed out drunk and has brought some, kind of trashy chick over to the mom's house, and the mom's not getting what she wants, and they're all yelling and screaming, and I think at this point she's just, trying to keep her mom. That wasn't really what was going on in the scene, so I didn't. But maybe I normally would, just depending on the character. It was funny because I didn't really do too much research, but it wasn't such a stretch for me. I mean, the girl she's still a pure girl, and she's sweet, she's not totally ruined yet, but she's just surrounded by darkness, and so being in that atmosphere, I mean, we were shooting pretty deep into the backwoods, I guess, and it really just took you there. If you just paid attention to your surroundings and put yourself there, like, if I really lived here and this was my life, I mean, that's exactly how you would act, so.
Well, you sort of describe Reese's character as like sort of her ticket out of that town. Well, what's interesting is that she starts off very sort of almost manic pixie dream girlish, where she kind of shows up and she's interested in this guy, and you don't really know why she would even be drawn to him. What sort of did you come up with, because they don't share that much time before she's kind of like, I'm really into this guy, or like, did you guys have to find certain lines that you felt were like would be important to your character to make sure that the connection was, tangible?
Yeah, I think the biggest scene that really shows Raven, seeing the side of him that's just different from all the other guys she's ever been around, is that first scene when they meet and they, take the walk together, and he's all shy and fumbling and can't speak right, and, she knows how to work him, but she's used to being around guys that just want to sleep with her, and, old guys probably too, and gross guys, and people who just smack her around. So, he can't barely get his name out because he's so nervous around her. I think she likes toying with him, but she also sees, that this is a good opportunity for me to try and leave with this guy, because he's a nice one. And that was it. I mean, Shane really gave us a lot of rehearsal time and time to get to know each other and to play with each scene and find the groove. And I think that was key.
Was it most important just to focus on the scenes with you and Reese, or did you have to actually think about sort of the larger scope of the narrative? Because obviously, this movie is very much about generations, and you have to deal with certainly your character's relationship to her mom, and then he's dealing with his father and grandfather. Do you have to think about those larger things, or do you, because the film can be sort of compartmentalized? I mean, you could pretty much cut out you guys' scenes that have its own little narrative without any of the other stuff going on.
Yeah. I think the most important thing for me was just knowing the relationship between the mother and the daughter, because that was the way the mother is and the way that her household is, and that's the reason why Raven is the way that she is. You know, is just the mother. So that was the main thing I would say. Pretty much every one of my lines came from a place of her upbringing and her mother. It's like she's just damaged goods, and I think more of the complicated stuff was from Reese, because the story is so complicated with all the different brothers, and I think his, what he had to do in the script, he must have been referring back in his script so many times to the way things go down with each one of the characters. It was really complicated, but I didn't have too much of that.
Well, you look really beautiful in the movie, but what I was sort of stricken by was the fact that she is not, I mean, not like voluptuous, but it seems more like a normal girl than like a sort of maybe what we would think of as a sort of cliche of a Hollywood sort of starlet. Did you have to do anything to sort of prepare physically for this, or do anything in particular to sort of embody her physicality?
I'm trying to think. No, I didn't have to work out. That was good. But no, I think that Shane chose me because I think I'm willing to do that kind of thing, and I do look like a normal girl, and I don't think I wore any makeup, which made it really easy to get there in the morning and get done. Basically, they just did my hair, and yeah, that was a choice to kind of have my hair always done because she's reading Vogue magazine all the time and stuff. But she is very simple, and I wanted that. I think that if I'm just constantly being done and looking like myself, then that's not much of a character.
Well, how careful are you having to be about the choices that you make in your career at this point? I mean, this is, I think, a really great choice because it gives you an opportunity to sort of highlight your own abilities within the confines of an ensemble, but again, in a film that's a little more intimate and character-based than, I don't know, some sort of big spectacle or even like a sort of romantic comedy or something like that, which might be more conventional. How careful do you have to be about picking movies? No.
I'm pretty careful. I think for a while I was taking my time and really trying to choose projects that were different and kind of get out of the public eye for a while. When I was taking a break from music and everything, it was just important, because I grew up in people's living rooms, and they see me as Lizzie McGuire and this perfectly relatable blonde girl who could be anyone's best friend. I mean, as much as that worked for me for a while, I was growing up and wanting to do different things, and I think just trying to take a step back was important for me, and that included what projects I chose. And the last few years I've chosen kind of off the beaten track stuff to work on, but then I also want to be I want to give back to my fans, kind of what they're used to. I did this kind of arc on Gossip Girl, and that was, I think, a good target for my age range of where my fans are and what they're watching now, and then doing things like this that made me happy. And, if some big blockbuster movie came along, of course I would do it, but hopefully there's a balance, and I can walk the line of doing those types of films and doing these types of films.
How important is finding roles that either incorporate or sort of showcase your singing at this point? Are you trying to sort of get away from that, or I mean, just in terms of trying something different creatively, or are you getting those kinds of offers at all? I guess.
Combining music and
combining music and acting.
Yeah, I've gotten a few, and I try and stay away from it. I want to eventually make another record, and I think choosing parts now that are different are vital, you know, because if I keep doing the same thing, then I'll feel like I'll get trapped again. And it's important for me to be able to show people that I can do dramatic things. And I've really tried to keep the two separate. I don't know why, but I have. I guess if the right project came along, but it hasn't, and everything that's been offered to me is kind of like cliche, like singing and dancing and acting at the same time, and I feel like I've wanted to keep them different for a reason, because Hilary Duff, you know, I want to be the singer, and then, you know, if I'm combining the two, then it just gets, I don't know, confusing.
Well, I think of like Ryan Gosling being on like the Mickey Mouse Club, and then, you know, obviously doing stuff now like The Believer and Blue Valentine. Are you having to convince people? Are you really having to fight for roles like this one, or these more sort of serious roles to show people that you're not just like sort of a perky blonde who wants to be in romantic comedies or, you know, sing pop songs? Yeah,
of course I do. I audition all the time. I get told no all the time. You know, I'm not just getting offers. This I did. I met Shane, and, you know, I think he thought I was right for the part and believed in me and wanted to take a chance on me, and he didn't make me audition, but I would have, you know, and I do all the time. It's not like I'm just getting everything I want. And especially for some of the bigger things, I'll go in an audition and get to the very end, you know, and then they'll say, you know what, we don't want Hilary Duff. It's, you know, so it's tough sometimes, because you can't always win. And but I'm a strong girl, and I'm always up for a good challenge, and I think that, you know, I'll be where I want to be.